Good morning, traders. It's Perry Wilkie with StartUpTrading.com. It is 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, October 2nd. So, looking back at yesterday's session, right, we had the liquidation break straight off the open for the first hour and then just flagged and went sideways for the Russell, the NASDAQ, and the ES. The Dow just was basically contained within an inside day, with most of it being in the value area. Uh, Not a lot to see or nothing going on there. And then, just no continuation. Russell come down right to support and lifted off that 2200 area basically. Uh, Looking at what that did to structure, we have what I call excess in A, and not just me, but it's profile technical analysis. It's the first 30-minute bar from 9:30 to 10 o'clock is called the A period. So this is the spike down basically. So all these prints are just in that first 30 minutes. This is what we consider the excess in it. So these are your lines that you should be very cautious shorting above. It doesn't mean the trade's not going to work out great. Uh, it just means, in my opinion, that if you get above that line and then go back below it, I'd rather start looking for shorts in that situation as a new setup than I would be trying to look for shorts initially above that line. Uh, this is, potentially you could get trapped above that line and keep going up. That could be your pivot line in essence. So you have that in the ES at 57.84. You have that in the NASDAQ at 20,081, and you have that in the Russell at 2228, basically, uh, is where we ended up with. So there are some Fed speakers around 11 and 12. I don't think that they're even worth mentioning, but you can look at Forex Factory or watch. Most of us aren't trading during lunchtime anyways, so I don't think it's a huge deal to even be worried about it at this point in time. Again, we've heard from everyone under the sun multiple times since the FOMC had their announcement almost 2 weeks ago at this point in time. Uh, and then there's really, nothing else, you know, major on the tape for today. Looking at positioning real quick, uh, right now the Qs are trading 480, almost 481, and it's been between 480 and 481 basically most of the overnight sessions where that was spent. So, right in here. So, as you can see, this is the bottom edge of where the bulls have agreement with the bears. And then, so below there, you could start picking up speed, especially if the VIX starts increasing. Above there, you could just have the slow grind, choppy up. So I'm looking at, potentially choppy up above 480 to a little bit faster, more volatile down below 480. And, don't use that as your exact, we're at 479.99, it should start picking up speed. The farther you get below 480, the quicker it should pick up down into 476 to 475. And then, we'll go from there for the week. And then as you look at just today's expiration, you can see that, that's really why I'm thinking that. And then, you got a little bit of a bump at 478, not significant. And then you could get potentially all the way down to 470 on a horrible tape. And I would expect a bounce at that point in time if you did get down there. Looking at the SPY is currently trading 567 half. Uh, so if we find that on our bingo cards, again, you're looking at right at the bottom edge of where the bulls have agreement with the bears. So we could be slipping into below this is negative gamma, meaning that down moves should accelerate down moves, up moves it should be less choppy, more volatile. How's that for a way to put it or to frame it? 560 would be, your major stop on the bus at that point in time. That's going to be about 67.5 points below where we're currently trading on the ES. So that would put us down basically at 56.80 on the ES futures is where that level would be. And then looking at the cash, you can see for today, you could get all the way down to 56.10 to 5600. The cash closed at 57.10 yesterday. We're down 10 points, so 5700. So that would be about 90 to 100 points down on the ES is where that would be, and not a, that's where your largest gamma is today, and you know I think I beat up position. We can look at that more as the day goes on. So what we've got is the title of my video is one and done or not. So basically, you need to start getting traction simply above 57.60 on the futures. You're about 10 points under that. That's pretty close to where the settlement is. Uh, so you need to get more positive, and then keep in mind that the top of the range is probably going to be like 57.98 half or in and around there anyways. That would be going back to the high on September 19th, and basically where all these bodies stop just short, just slightly above that. uh, Let's go back to that one more time. Looking at the Dow move, 5,700 is your target, and that lines up with what we were talking about on the futures and the positioning. So as we look at where we're at, this 19,903 is still a bogey line. Uh, and again, don't get too caught up. Are we, at 19,902? So we should start, flying down. It's just like, the farther we get, away from that line, I'd rather look for longs up into the top of the zone at 20,251. The more you get below that zone, I would like to start looking for shorts, probably down into 19,009, or I'm sorry, 19,700 is, where I think you could get to, pretty good. That'd be about 250, 260 points down below where we are right now. Looking at the overnight session, it's only 28 points is all we've had. We're right in the middle of value. You can see that we're holding below those XS and A lines. We did go positive overnight, and it was a short-lived, right out of the gate in the open. Uh, and then nothing since then. As we look at the Russell, the Bears would like nothing more to take it below 2187 basically, and the Bulls would like to get it above 2230 basically. Uh, Looking at strength, if you start breaking above this XS and A, which for the Nasdaq is at 20,081 basically. You're looking at probably going through yesterday's high and then going up into the single prints. This would be your strength move. This would be your one and done. 20,383 to 20,405 would be my targets if we start making traction above 20,100. Otherwise, I want to see if we can, break the inside day. I think we'll probably get a test, you know, uh, either above this line. I don't know if we can hit the previous day's high necessarily, uh, but we'll probably get a test of this XS and A, and we'll probably get a test of at least 19,850, 840 right in there, and we'll just have to see if basically if 19,900 ends up being resistance after testing down at 850. So 850 to 900 will be really where I think you start flipping to the short side potentially if you don't find support. So maybe on a first test you get a little bit of a bounce. I'm not going to buy that bounce. I'm going to see if we to be honest with you, I'm gonna watch the VIX and see if it sets up for the short. I think that's a better risk to reward once you get back up towards 900. Uh, Looking at the ES, same thing. You want to see if you can get above this 57.84. That's going to target above the previous day's high up in this 58.22. For the most part, 58.20, 58.22, and then below, uh, really watch the overnight low, and then you can get that look below and fail yesterday's range, but there should be acceleration, right? This is uh, usually you end in one or we these reversal periods usually end in odd numbers for whatever reason. I don't know, but it is a thing. So, we're either gonna, come back out and hit trade above yesterday's high at some point today, which, I'm thinking that this is probably going to be at least more of a 3-day pullback than a one and done. But we will see. We got our XS and A lines to tell us that, and that just because we're not going to trade over yesterday's high doesn't mean that we have to make substantial traction below yesterday's low either. It just means we could consolidate uh, down here again. Again, this is your window of opportunity for a bigger move, but we are in value basically on all of the indexes except for the Russell, which is at value very low, and just you know playing on that support area. And I think it's going to want to trade those single prints, and we'll have to see which side it ends up on if you play the single prints for the Russell, or if you play the Russell, you want to see what side of these single prints it ends up on, and then it should just if nothing else, balance. Below there if it does break below it. I will be same thing as yesterday. I will get back on the mic in about 30 minutes or 40 minutes, about 10 till 10. I'll get on the mic and we'll run it live today. Hopefully, today will be a little bit more interesting than yesterday. Again, you just had that initial 60-minute flush down and then a flag yesterday. So it's a little bit, of go nowhere, do nothing. You could have taken longs, you could have taken shorts and just been fine in that. We just were range bound basically after the first hour yesterday. See if we can get some continuation today, one way or the other. Would be a little bit more fun to play, but you know, not every day it works fun. So we'll see what sets up, and we'll talk to you in about 30, 40 minutes.